Warriors to keep Jonathan Kuminga for 2025-26 season. Trade talks end. What's next? It seems the Warriors have firmly decided to hold on to Jonathan Kuminga for the upcoming season. And here's why that matters more than you might think. Currently, there are indications that Kuminga will start the 2025-26 NBA season still donning a Warriors jersey. And while plans can always shift, this news is certainly worth exploring. According to Tim Kawakami from the San Francisco Standard, he spoke with a source within the Warriors organization who confirmed, "The word I got when I checked in with a Warriors source on Sunday, Kuminga won't be traded this summer." This statement sets the tone for the Warriors' strategy as they head into the new season. Kawakami goes on to elaborate that Kuminga's return hinges on either signing with the Warriors or accepting a qualifying offer of $7.9 million for 1 year. Despite the buzz surrounding sign and trade options, which have reportedly been considered with various teams this offseason, the Warriors management isn't particularly inclined to offload the promising young forward. But here's where it gets intriguing. The front office has shown a distinct lack of enthusiasm towards the idea of trading Kuminga from the very beginning. The overarching context here is significant. Joe Lacob, the team's owner, is a strong supporter of Kuminga and is determined to either keep him on the team or ensure that they receive substantial value in any potential trade. This commitment to holding on to Kuminga may reflect the organization's broader vision for the future, as the Sacramento Kings, along with the Phoenix Suns, have also expressed interest in a trade involving Kuminga. They recently pitched a proposal that included veteran guard Malik Monk and a future first-round draft pick in 2030. However, it appears the Warriors were not particularly keen on this offer, as reported by ESPN's Anthony Slater, who indicated that they plan to cease negotiations concerning a sign and trade for the forward. This scenario leads us to ponder, are the Warriors making the right move by retaining Kuminga? Or should they actively pursue a trade if it means enhancing their roster with immediate veteran talent? What are your thoughts on the Warriors' current strategy? Do you believe their faith in Kuminga will pay off? Or is it time to consider alternative options? Share your opinions in the comments. For the latest updates on the Golden State Warriors, including game highlights and insightful analyses, be sure to check out NBC Sports Bay Area and stay connected by tapping into the Dubs Talk podcast. Kawakami breaks down the Kuminga-Warriors stalemate and his compromise proposal. The ongoing standoff between Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors has recently evolved, but unfortunately, it does not appear to be moving towards a swift resolution or satisfying anyone involved, particularly Kuminga himself. The most probable outcome remains unchanged. Kuminga and the Warriors seem destined for a short-term agreement that would provide him with a salary in line with market rates, paving the way for improved trade conditions either during the upcoming season or in the next off-season. While the possibility of a sign and trade deal this summer with another team has never been completely off the table, it has always seemed to be Kuminga's preferred outcome. This sentiment is echoed by several key figures within the Warriors organization, provided they can secure a satisfactory trade package in return. However, after over a month of unproductive and brief negotiations involving Kuminga and a few other teams, the options appear to be dwindling, at least from the Warriors' perspective, and likely for Kuminga's camp as well. According to a source within the Warriors I spoke with on Sunday, Kuminga is not expected to be traded this summer. Instead, he will return to the Warriors roster to kick off the season, either by signing the Warriors' offer or accepting the 1-year qualifying offer of $7.9 million. Of course, one could interpret this as the Warriors positioning themselves for a final attempt at securing a more favorable sign and trade agreement. The Warriors have indeed engaged in discussions with other teams regarding Kuminga, and once negotiations begin, there is always the potential to finalize a deal. regardless of the public stance at any given moment. Nevertheless, multiple sources have suggested that the Warriors have not been particularly enthusiastic about the idea of a Kuminga sign and trade from the beginning. The overarching context is that Joe Lacob, a key figure in the organization, remains a supporter of Kuminga and is determined to either retain the 22-year-old or obtain substantial value in return. He is prepared to be patient in this process. Whether this commitment will shift as the season approaches remains to be seen. However, it is clear that Mike Dunleavy, the Warriors' general manager, does not feel pressured to trade Kuminga hastily or at a loss just to reach a resolution. In fact, the internal pressure seems to be quite the opposite. Reports from The Athletic's Sam Amick indicate that the Sacramento Kings are aggressively pursuing Kuminga, having proposed a deal that would pay him $63 million over 3 years while sending Malik Monk and a protected future first-round pick back to the Warriors. However, the Warriors are seeking an unprotected pick instead. Additionally, it seems they are not interested in including Moses Moody or Buddy Hield in this deal, which would be necessary due to base year compensation rules. I believe that a move to the Kings, where Kuminga would step into a significant role, would likely be the best scenario for him. It makes sense for Kuminga's camp to advocate for this outcome. If he were an unrestricted free agent, he might have already held a press conference in Sacramento weeks ago. However, Kuminga is classified as a restricted free agent, meaning the Kings cannot extend him an offer sheet since they are over the salary cap. They can only acquire him through a sign and trade. To date, I do not believe the Warriors have received any sign and trade offers from the Kings or any other team that they would consider seriously. Thus, it appears the Warriors are firmly committed to persuading Kuminga to accept either the 2-year, $45 million offer, with only the first year guaranteed, reported by ESPN's Anthony Slater, or the qualifying offer, which would essentially position Kuminga as a temporary Warrior, facing unrestricted free agency next summer. Adding to the complexity, as reported by Mark Stein on his Substack, the Warriors want Kuminga to waive his right to block any trade during the first year as part of their offer, given that he would be on a 1-year guarantee. In this context, it is important to recognize that posturing is a common tactic in trade discussions or free agent negotiations by any team official, especially in a situation fraught with frustration, ambition, and financial pressures like this one. Kuminga is young and talented, having waited 4 years for a permanent role in the Warriors' rotation. His previous season did not mesh well with Jimmy Butler, and there is no guarantee that the upcoming season will be any different, nor that Steve Kerr will make a concerted effort to integrate him effectively. Therefore, it is reasonable for Kuminga to seek opportunities elsewhere. In fact, he likely should. However, if a suitable sign and trade deal does not materialize, the Warriors are under no obligation to act differently than they currently are, or to say anything other than what they are saying now. Issuing general statements is relatively straightforward when there is no immediate deadline. The Warriors have essentially completed most of their off-season plans, with Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton expected to sign moderate deals as soon as the Kuminga situation is resolved. Gary Payton II is also believed to be in a similar position. At this point, there is no urgency. The deadline for Kuminga to accept the qualifying offer is not until October 1st, and this can be postponed if both parties agree. So what is the practical solution? Perhaps I should have introduced my moderate proposal earlier, but it is so straightforward that it seems more fitting to present it after outlining this convoluted situation. There are numerous reasons why progress has been stalled thus far. It may not yet be the right moment for a grand compromise, but that time will come eventually. When it does, it should likely involve the Warriors increasing the guarantee in the second year of their offer from $0 to around $14 million, raising the total guarantee to over $30 million across 2 years. by providing a second-year guarantee, the Warriors would eliminate Kuminga's right to block a trade next season. This adjustment would lend the Warriors more credibility when they assert that they have the highest offer on the table, and it would likely remain a very tradable contract come February or next July. Additionally, this would offer Kuminga more security than the current proposal, and significantly more than simply accepting the qualifying offer. I can assure you that both parties will likely be equally displeased with me for suggesting this. If that's not validation, I don't know what is. Jonathan Kuminga staying with Warriors, trade rumors and contract details. In a surprising turn that could have reshaped the future of the Golden State Warriors, reports indicate that Jonathan Kuminga... Throughout the off-season, many believed a sign and trade might be the route out for Kuminga, especially given the interest from other teams. However, last week, Fred Katz of The Athletic reported that negotiations for such a trade hadn't gained much traction, meaning a deal with Golden State was far from certain. As for the Warriors' direct offer, Kuminga reportedly isn't sold on it yet. ESPN insiders Shams Charania and Anthony Slater revealed last week that Kuminga has declined a 2-year, $45 million contract proposal from Golden State. Instead, he's listening to offers from other franchises, which include 4-year deals around $90 million. The hesitation seems to stem from the specifics of the proposed contract, particularly the inclusion of a team option, making Kuminga wary about losing control over his future career moves. Sources indicate that this ongoing stalemate revolves around a fundamental dispute over control. Kuminga is believed to see accepting the Warriors' restricted free agent offer, especially one that involves a team option and the loss of trade veto rights, as relinquishing too much authority over his destiny. At just 22 years old, Kuminga's career is still in its early stages. Had he been an unrestricted free agent, he likely would have already signed a bigger, more lucrative deal. But the restricted status complicates matters. It allows the Warriors to match any opposing offer, which makes a sign and trade the most viable exit strategy. At this point, the Warriors appear to be holding pattern, hesitant to accept a trade offer they find acceptable unless it benefits the team, while Kuminga remains eager to find an arrangement that gives him more control. Despite flashes of promise, averaging 15.3 points per game last season, Kuminga has not yet reached star status. His best chance now might be to sign a short-term contract to demonstrate his value and earn a more substantial deal down the line. The question remains, will the two sides reach an agreement, or will this sensitive negotiation extend into what could be a defining moment for Kuminga's budding career? And more provocatively, does this reveal a wider issue about player control and franchise power in today's NBA? What are your thoughts? Should young players like Kuminga have more leverage, or is the current system working as intended? Share your opinions below.